Honorable Mark Brown, Prime Minister of Cook Islands, Cabinet Ministers, High Commissioner Alan Abstead, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, senior officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Bulovinaka, Kia orana and good evening. Your Excellencies, first I'd like to welcome Prime Minister Mark Brown on your first official visit to Fiji. Regional relationships such as that between Fiji and the Cook Islands matter for every Fijian because no one understands our challenges better than our Pacific sisters and brothers. Fijians and Cook Islanders know what it means to live with the threat of the rising sea. We are seafaring people, and we will go to any lengths to protect our ocean for coming generations. When a cyclone strikes or nearly misses our islands, the Cook Islands can be in the crosshairs. We saw that during Tropical Cyclone Sarai. An import dependent as we are, our people share the struggle of meeting the recent price hikes for food and fuel. That is why we count on each other to speak as one of the most urgent threats our people face. That is why we can work together in earnest to find solutions, because we know we share more than challenges. We share a future. Fiji and the Cook Islands, 24-year-old partnership is quite young by most standards. To me, that says the best is yet to come. The opening of your High Commission in Fiji is a testament to that. It is quite literally a solid foundation on which we can build. And I'm grateful and excited for what it signifies. You're in very good company here in Suva. Increasingly, our capital has become a community that includes all our major international institutions. Fiji is the Pacific hub of trade, of travel, of telecommunications, and finance. And Suva is the one-stop shop for all matters multilateral. In one trip to one city, our region's leaders can make connections and coordinate engagements with each other and the world. That could not matter more at the present time. Our world is beset by a new war. Meanwhile, supply chains are straining to the point of breaking. That's all to say a more connected Pacific is a more secure Pacific. As a major producer of food and manufactured goods, Fiji is ready to play a much larger role to support regional nutrition security and trade and human capital. There are already around 800 Fijian employed in Cook Islands, private and public sector, who contribute significantly to both our economies. Prime Minister Brown, when our borders were closed during the pandemic, neither of us sat back and wished for the best. We pushed hard to reopen our region and ensure that any regional travel bubble reached further than the Tasman Sea. Eventually, we succeeded, and thousands of our people are back in jobs they love because of it. I'm confident our pandemic recovery will create more opportunities than our nations can and should seize together. Today is, of course, a victory for unity in the Pacific, but we have much larger mission to unite our region ahead of us. If we can bridge our most recent differences in keeping with our Pacific way, I'm confident that we will be a stronger family for it. And I appreciate Cook Islands' commitment to keeping our Pacific family together. Congratulations, sir, again. Prime Minister Brown, you now have a true home here in Suva. I also acknowledge and commend High Commissioner Armstead and his team for their tireless efforts leading up to this evening's opening. May Taki, and thank you.
Good evening, Kia orana, Bula, everybody. Your Excellency, the Right Honourable Prime Minister Bainimarama, the President Whips Jr. of Palau, President Panuelo of Micronesia, to our special envoy of the Marshall Islands that is here today, members of Parliament, our Secretary General of the Pacific Islands Forum, members of the Diplomatic Corps. What a great pleasure to meet you all as you arrived to our High Commission. I'd like to make a very special welcome to my Cook Islands family that are here tonight with us, those that have been here in Fiji for many, many years now. And ladies and gentlemen, pula winaka, and a warm kia ora to you all. So it's an honor and a pleasure to be here to be able to greet you face to face. It's been a couple of long years where we've been meeting over the Zoom and over the virtual settings. It really is a significant milestone for us, and I guess for many of the other Pacific Island countries, to be able to actually fly and land and meet face to face with our colleagues. I'm particularly heartened to see many familiar faces and new friends among us this evening. So thank you very much for honoring us with your presence. Taka I koe te papa inua, a ka mou ki te pito inua. Hau te marae ki a tapu, e tere ei tō urangi. Ai e kōkou. Now this is a traditional chant from our homeland and appropriate for tonight's celebration. It means when you journey to a new place, be sure to pay your respects to the people of that place. In that new place, take with you the values of our ancestors. Embrace the ways of your new home. Live with integrity and live with God. Then you shall prosper. How deep is the wisdom of our ancestors, and how fitting their encouragement for our occasion this evening. Today is a proud day for Cook Islanders. This marae that we open here this evening affirms our connection and commitment to Fiji, to this land, and to its people. Our relationship with Fiji existed long before the lines on a foreigner's map determined our boundaries. Our ties celebrate common history, culture, kinship, trade, politics, and our shared stewardship of our great Te Moana Nui o Kiwa. The ties that bind our two countries and people have and will always stand the test of time. The most significant of these, our peoples. We have many Fijians who have laid roots in our land, contributing to our economy, our society, and also our sporting prowess, let me tell you. And we will certainly welcome more. I recognize with pride our Cook Islands people here this evening, who are here for higher learning, for business, and some who have set up their roots here in Fiji. I myself am the very proud grandfather of my princess, my Fijian Rarotongan granddaughter, Delilah Heiana. And I look forward to visiting her land next time I come through. But the Bula spirit and smiles are alive and thriving in Rarotonga, just as our Kia Orana spirit and smiles abound here this evening. I had a very positive meeting with Prime Minister Bainimarama this morning, and we have together instructed our officials to prioritize formalization of an expanded bilateral partnership agreement to cover transport, labor mobility, trade, investment, education, and people-to-people ties. Prime Minister, I am greatly encouraged by the opportunities available to us and look forward to working closely with you, the government and people of Fiji, to bring those to fruition in the near future. Fiji holds an enviable place in the center of our Pacific. It is the regional hub for commerce, trade, education, diplomacy, and home to many of our regional and international multilateral organizations. As a founding member of our Pacific Islands Forum, the Cook Islands have long recognized the immense value of Pacific regionalism and our Pacific family. This value is built on the visionary collaboration and the toil of our founding fathers of our region, including Fiji's very own, the late Sir Kamisesi Mara, Nauru's Hamadi Robert, and the founding father of our Cook Islands, the late Sir Albert Royal Henry. The unfailing belief of our founding fathers in our ability as Pacific people to chart the Pacific way, navigate our separate and collective voyages to statehood, and draw strength from each other to ensure the security and prosperity of our people is as powerful today as it was more than 5 decades ago. That unity within diversity, respect and family is the foundation upon which we as a region have grown, and the foundation upon which we can continue to ensure the security and prosperity of our people into the future. We've been told by many outsiders that the Pacific region is a hotbed of geopolitical competition, that the fate of the Pacific region is under threat, and that we are but pawns in the grand game of international geopolitics and global economy. Well, I disagree with these views, and our history tells us otherwise. Our Pacific is a space where the wisdom of our ancestors and our collective efforts have ensured healthy oceans that remain the food basket of our people, existential resilience that the Western world now call on for guidance on sustainable oceans development and climate change adaptation, and integrated societies where a caring concern for humanity and collective responsibility thrives. These existential values and approaches to development are at the core of our Pacific regionalism. For more than 5 decades, our Pacific leaders have welcomed newly independent nations into the Pacific family. We've stood together on nuclear testing. We've negotiated tirelessly on the United Nations Law of the Sea. We've established the Forum Fisheries Agency. We've cooperated on regional security and ensured the well-being of our blue Pacific continent. Through the Pacific Islands Forum and our respective crop agencies, we've established an interconnected web of regional agencies, cultural exchanges, sporting ties, and networks that is uniquely Pacific and based on mutual respect, trust, openness, and understanding. Our 2050 regional strategy articulates our Pacific way and Pacific-led solutions. It requires our collective engagement and determined fortitude. We have always been stronger together, and together we can ensure the recovery of our respective economies and the prosperity of our peoples long into the future. Prime Minister Bainimarama, may I thank you and your government for the warm hospitality accorded me on this visit and the support rendered the last couple of years towards the establishment of this mission. I am confident that the close cooperation over many years between our officials on bilateral and regional matters will ensure that we deliver critical benefits to support our respective recovery efforts in the months ahead. Be assured, our opening of this mission in the aftermath of the economic and financial upheaval caused by COVID is testament to the potential Fiji offers and our determination to expand cooperation across the full spectrum of our shared areas of interest in the months ahead. I acknowledge the determined advocacy by the Secretary of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Secretary Herman, over a number of years for the establishment of this diplomatic mission in Fiji. On the eve of COVID, we sent senior diplomat Jim Armistead a warrior from the island of Mitiaro, which we nicknamed the Mighty Arrows. For the last 2 years, he's had to do that under difficult circumstances to hold the fort and wait until we got here. Well, we got here, and then we appointed him as the High Commissioner. Well done, Jim. Congratulations. Your Excellency, well done on this evening's arrangements. I have to say, we couldn't bring the band and we couldn't bring the dance team, but this is just as good as what we're getting now. Remember, the most important ties are people. I look forward to meeting you, Jim, on my future trips here to Fiji, and who knows, you may have contributed to the Cook Islands Fiji diaspora as well by then. Ladies and gentlemen, let me close with my opening. Takai koe I te papa enua, aka mau ki te pito enua. Hau I te marae ki a tapu, I tere ei tō o rangi. Be assured of our respect, be assured of our integrity. If God is for us, who can be against us? God bless Fiji, God bless the Cook Islands, God bless our Blue Pacific. Minaka wakalevu kia manuia.